What's up? What's going on, guys? This is Mr. Gold, and today I'm going to be doing NFL seasons in NFL history. This will be the third episode. This will be the 1968 NFL season, and obviously we cannot start our season without talking about our draft. So the 1968 NFL/AFL draft was again another NFL and AFL combined draft, so we're going to have a total of 27 picks per round, it appears. So just get right into it. Again, we'll only be talking about A, Hall of Famers, B, Pro Bowlers, and C, AFL All-Stars. So all other players that are drafted will not be mentioned unless they made one of those three requirements. So the first pick of the 1968 AFL draft was by the Minnesota Vikings, and they picked Ron Yary, an offensive tackle who did make it to the Hall of Fame, so congratulations to him. With the next pick, the Cincinnati Bengals took Bob Johnson, a center, and he made the AFL All-Star. So that's basically the Pro Bowl, but for AFL players. Then, with the third pick, the Falcons took Claude Humphrey, a defensive end, and he made it to the Hall of Fame. So that's two Hall of Famers in just the top three. Then, with the fourth pick, the San Diego Chargers took Russ Washington, an offensive tackle, and he made it to the AFL All-Star game. Then, with the fifth pick, the Green Bay Packers took Fred Carr, a linebacker, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. Now, keep in mind, I believe that this does not necessarily mean that they made the Pro Bowl that year. It just means they made the Pro Bowl at some point in their career. So keep that in mind. With the eighth pick, the Miami Dolphins took Larry Kasanka, a fullback, and that's probably the most famous dude that we have had so far. And he made it to the Hall of Fame. Then with the ninth pick, the Buffalo Bills took Haven Moses, a wide receiver. He made it to the AFL All-Star game. Then the Detroit Lions, with the 11th pick, took Greg Landry, a quarterback, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. With the 13th pick, the St. Louis Cardinals took MacArthur Lane, a running back, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. With the next pick, the Philadelphia Eagles took Tim Rosevich, a linebacker, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. And then with the following pick, the San Francisco 49ers took Forrest Blue, a center, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. And that will conclude our three big positions in round one. In round two, Curly Culp was taken with the 31st pick by the Denver Broncos. He is a defensive end, and he made it to the Hall of Fame. With the 48th pick in that same round, Mike Livingston was taken by the Kansas City Chiefs. He is a quarterback, and he made the Pro Bowl. Then, possibly the most famous player taken so far, it is Ken Stabler, taken by the Oakland Raiders with the 52nd overall pick, and he is a quarterback, and he made the Hall of Fame. In the third round, the Miami Dolphins took Dick Anderson, a defensive back. He made the Pro Bowl. The Detroit Lions took Charlie Sanders, a tight end, and he made the Hall of Fame. Also in the third round, I believe, the Houston Oilers took Elvin Bethea, a defensive end, and he made it to the Hall of Fame. The Oakland Raiders took another very famous player, Art Shell, a tackle, and he made it to the Hall of Fame as well. Then the Cincinnati Bengals took Paul Robinson, a running back, and he made it to the Pro Bowl. In round 4, we had none of the big three, but then in round 5, we had the Miami Dolphins taking Jim Kayak, I believe, and he is a running back, and he made the Pro Bowl. Also in that same round, the Chicago Bears took Cecil Turner, a wide receiver, and he made the Pro Bowl. The Dallas Cowboys, also in that same round, took Blaine Nye, a tackle, and he made the Pro Bowl. In round 6, we did not have any of the big three, neither in round 7, neither in round 8, neither in round 9. Doesn't look to be any in round 10. None in round 11, none in round 12, none in round 13. There is one in round 14, though. The Denver Broncos took Marlon Briscoe, a quarterback, and he made the Pro Bowl. In round 15, there's none. Doesn't look to be any in 16, and there is none in 17. Notable undrafted players, there is only 3. And these are only Pro Bowlers. The New Orleans Saints undrafted running back Tony Baker made the Pro Bowl. San Diego Chargers undrafted kicker Tom Dempsey made the Pro Bowl. And San Francisco 49ers guard Woody Peoples also made the Pro Bowl. All of them were undrafted. So, if we're looking in terms of Hall of Famers, I believe, we had, let's see here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 Hall of Famers in the 1968 NFL AFL draft. So that is pretty impressive for one draft to profit 8 Hall of Famers. So definitely a very successful draft there. Now let's get into the season directly following that draft. Let's see here. It doesn't look like necessarily that there is any teams that were added in here. The Saints were added, I believe, last season. So I don't know if I necessarily mentioned that, but that is there. But the New Orleans Saints and the New York Giants in this season, they switched divisions. So the Saints joined the Century Division while the Giants became a part of the Capital Division. So the draft was held in 1968 in New York City's Belmont Plaza Hotel, and with the first pick, the Vikings selected offensive tackle Ron Yeri, who made the Hall of Fame. Let's see here. So very big, just kind of division rivalry for the second straight season. The Colts and the Rams waged a very tight season-long battle for the Coastal Division title, so it was very difficult running there. But here is our final standings for all of the divisions. Keep in mind this is NFL, so the Eastern Division, the Capital Division, and their champion between the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys was, and remember, the New York Giants is their first season in the Capital Division. It is the Dallas Cowboys once again coming up on top of the Capital Division, going with a pretty good record of 12-2, 0 ties, so that's not very bad there. Then in the Century Division, which remember the Saints got transferred to, it was a race between the Cleveland Browns and the St. Louis Cardinals, and by one game, the Cleveland Browns managed to overtake the St. Louis Cardinals, with the Cardinals happening to have a tie instead of a win, with the Browns' record being 10-4 and the Cardinals being 9-4-1. Then in the Western Conference, the Coastal Division was a race between the Baltimore Colts, a longtime good team, and the Los Angeles Rams. And the winner was the Baltimore Colts with a record of 13-1, the Rams coming in a close second with a record of 10-3-1. Then in the Century Division, this was easily the weakest division in the entire NFL. It was a race between the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears, and the Vikings came out on top by one game with a record of 8-6 to the Bears' record of 7-7. Then the NFL playoffs commenced with the Minnesota Vikings from the worst division in the NFL with facing off with the Baltimore Colts, the best team in the Western Conference, and I believe the best team in the entire NFL. So, and obviously, as predicted, the Baltimore Colts beat them 24-14. Then the Dallas Cowboys faced off with the Cleveland Browns, the Dallas Cowboys with the second best record, and the Browns with the third best, and this battle would go to the Cleveland Browns. So there we have our first upset. The Cleveland Browns upset the Dallas Cowboys with a score of 31-20. Then the Baltimore Colts faced off with the Cleveland Browns, and the Baltimore Colts absolutely demolished the Cleveland Browns, winning by a score of 34-0. So really just an impressive one by that. But then we have our AFL-NFL championship game, and it would be between the AFL's New York Jets versus the Baltimore Colts of the NFL. So, and obviously everyone was expecting the Baltimore Colts to win. They were dominant all season. They were entirely the best team in the NFL by far. But in a surprise upset, the New York Jets and Joe Namath managed somehow to defeat the Baltimore Colts by a score of 16-7. So an extremely impressive one there. But then, if we go to our awards, Earl Morrall, of the quarterback of the Baltimore Colts, obviously won Most Valuable Player, MVP, and Coach of the Year was clearly Don Shula of the Baltimore Colts. Offensive Rookie of the Year was Earl McCulloch, a wide receiver from Detroit, and Defensive Rookie of the Year was Claude Humphrey, a defensive end from Atlanta. George Halas this season stepped down as head coach and was replaced by Jim Dooley, and Jack Christensen of the San Francisco 49ers was replaced by Dick Nolan. So that should conclude this season. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.